James, thanks very much for joining us here on Extra Time. First of all, there'll be some people around the county mightn't be that familiar with you. You're the manager of Naomh Eanna, but where did your day's involvement in the GAA all begin?
Well, I suppose originally I'm from Waterford City, and I'm involved with De La Salle. Grew up, went to school into the primary schools in De La Salle and progressed on to De La Salle College, and obviously was a part of the club then in De La Salle. We're a city team in Waterford, surrounded by, I suppose, Mount Sion and Roe and Ballygunner and stuff like that. So learned, I suppose, if you could say I learned anything, I learned all my hurling in De La Salle, we're a very proud club down there, and progressed through playing from, I suppose, as a juvenile up to senior. In particular with us, we had a very successful year in 2008. We won our first county title and progressed all the way to an All-Ireland club final. We were given a good trimming that day by Portumna now, but that's really, I suppose, my background. My job has taken me to Wicklow, so that's probably why I came on to maybe into the Wexford scene, or got involved with a Wexford club, with the proximity to where I'm living at the minute,
Well, while you mentioned there that you're now involved with Naomh Eanna, how did that involvement come about, and when did it come about?
I suppose I was with De La Salle predominantly as a coach in 19 and 20, and then kind of as a joint manager with one of the lads, Brian Phelan, down home in 21. We got to a county final in 19, and then 21 wasn't our best year. We actually won a relegation final to stay up, and I think with the commute from Wicklow to Waterford after the 3 years, I think the lads probably wanted a bit of freshness at home, different voice as well, and you're trying to couple that with being fair to your own family, your own wife, and I have a little daughter as well, so the decision was to step away, and it was the right decision at the time. Again, as I work in Wicklow, in my own office in Wicklow, there's a couple of lads that are involved here in the club, and I suppose the conversations came up in the office. Willie had stepped away in the same year after 5 great years, in fairness to him, and great work with the lads here. The opportunity came then to have a conversation with the club late in 21, and came down, had a conversation, and things, I suppose, just progressed on from there, really.
And how did you get involved in coaching in the first place?
It's something that I would have always had an interest in. We always sit at home, I suppose, on a Sunday night and watch a Sunday game and enjoy the analysis, and you do that as a child and all the way up. I would have started with minor teams in my own club, and I would have progressed into maybe under 21 team in my own club down through the years as well. When I came to Wicklow, I suppose I kind of had a second knee operation too, and that kind of finished my hurling. The opportunity came in Wicklow about 10 years ago to take on a senior team and get in and kind of have a feeling out process, whether you liked it or not. And it's just progressed from there. I suppose spent 3 years with them, and I was involved with the Wicklow seniors for a year under Martin Storey, actually, funnily enough, and Kevin Kennedy was involved. And then I suppose the call came from home, and I went down for the 3 years, and it's progressed on into the Gorey seniors now.
And naturally, the same with most other things, as you get more experience at things, you learn new things, and you develop as a coach or as a manager. What kind of things would you say that you would have learned, or the main changes that might have been even in your own coaching over the last few years?
Well, certainly, look, as I played, and obviously played a number of years ago, I think the management style back then was kind of, iron fist type stuff, and that doesn't work anymore, and it's not acceptable by the players even anymore. So the thing that I've, I suppose, learned most over the last couple of years is you have 20, 30 lads coming up to hurling field 3 nights a week. First off, they have to be able to enjoy that process, and you as a coach or a manager or whatever you are in a setup, you're there as a facilitator to provide the lads with a platform to be the best that they can be. And once you can give that to them, and obviously there's hundreds of coaches around the country that you could say are mediocre or poor. I don't know what I am either, but the coaching has to be good, but certainly a big thing that I've tried to emphasise is, as my coaching career, I suppose, has gone on, if you could call it a career, but is to make sure that the lads are coming up here and the enjoyment factor is there, because you're asking these lads to train 3 nights a week, go to the gym twice a week, and do recovery sessions. So even on the club scene at the minute, the intercounty scene is 100%, 110% all in. Club players are the same, so if the enjoyment element of it is not there, and you don't create a good environment for them, then I don't think you're going to get any results out of it.
And in terms of preparation, then, we all know the Wexford Championship is quite condensed. It's every week, so many weeks in a row. Is that a different type of thing to prepare for than if it was any other way?
It is. It throws up its own challenges. It throws up challenges for the management and for the players themselves. Like, if a player goes down with an injury now, the chances are, depending on how serious it is, they could miss the entire championship. And I think in every county across the country, everybody wants to see the best club hurlers week in, week out. So we have to really taper down what we do in midweek stuff. a lot of your attention turns to analysing your own performance first, and then maybe the opposition, and making sure that the lads get their recovery in, and balancing that with getting sessions done during the week. You can't just, I suppose, the approach that we take is you can't just saunter through the week either. There has to be intensity at some parts of the week, but it is difficult to manage. Look, it's a great spectacle to have 7 weeks on the trot or 8 weeks on the trot, and for any club if you're lucky enough to get to the final stage. But it definitely does have challenges, but you have to overcome them challenges, and every club is in the same boat.
Now, you mentioned 7 or 8 weeks on the trot. Now, last year it was 7 weeks on the trot, and I'm sure you'll be very much hoping that it'll be 8 weeks on the trot this year.
Yeah, look, I mean, I suppose last year we started really well. We won 3 out of 3. We had a right humdinger of a match against the Harriers on a Saturday night in Belfield, and then we found ourselves with 6 points, and I think the talk around the place was we were qualified with 6 points. First team in Wexford qualified for a quarter final, and then we had a bit of a slump for whatever reason. Good performance against Shells in the quarter final, and then an off day against the Martins in the semi final. And I think the biggest thing that hit me last year was the disappointment on the back end of the semi final performance. We would have felt as a group that we didn't put our best foot forward in the semi final, I think, and I would have felt personally from a coaching point of view that I probably made decisions on the day that were wrong, and you spend the winter kind of mulling over those things, So we met as a group before Christmas and discussed, I suppose, what had went wrong and where we could improve, And I think when you have that openness and honesty within a group, and you can come as a coach and say, "Listen, lads, I got it wrong." Players make mistakes on the field all the time. And managers and coaches make mistakes too. So look, we're only taking every single week as it comes. If we get to 8 weeks, brilliant. Ultimately that's the goal. But straight away in our minds at the minute is the Harriers on Saturday.
And the season so far has been quite a good one, winning the All-County League, and obviously winning the first round of the Championship over Aldgate Glenbrine. So things have obviously gone well so far.
Yeah, look, and again, that comes down to the lads. I mean, as I said, the lads are up here 3 nights a week, and they're putting in a massive effort, be it on their strength and conditioning stuff and their hurling stuff and their analysis and all that type of thing. So I couldn't criticise any of them, or, across the board it's been brilliant with the lads. The way we looked at the league, it's funny because we came up here in the last round against Rathnure. We were probably a little bit unaware of whether there was semi-finals or not. Played well against Rathnure here on a Friday evening and got to a semi-final. And the way we looked at the semi-final was, it was as good a challenge game as we were going to get in preparation for the Championship. There was no thought here of winning the league, or the league was the priority. We went down to Shells, won on penalties, and then you find yourself in the league final. And the same approach was taken as again. Playing St Martin's is as good a challenge game as you're going to get in preparation for the Championship. They're as good a team as in Wexford, if not Leinster. So, it gave us a great platform to build for the Championship. There happened to be a league title at the end of it, which is fantastic. It's great for the club, but certainly it wasn't it wasn't a part of our goals at the start of the year.
Well, definitely one of the part of the goals is to beat the Harriers at the weekend. I'm sure, no doubt, you'll have a clubman on the opposite, or in the opposite dugout to yourself.
Yeah, look, I suppose I was well documented with the lads here. My own relationship with Derek, and friends with Derek since I'm a child, and he's been a massive influence on my own, I suppose, hurling career, and again on my own coaching. I worked with Derek with De La Salle in 2021, and Derek is infectious. Like when he's involved with a group, he's infectious, and he gets everyone really singing off the same hymn sheet, and he's very intense, and he's a brilliant coach behind it all. So we had a few arguments on the line last year, but a good handshake and a hug after the match as well. So playing the Harriers presents a number of challenges, and playing the Harriers with Derek McGrath on the sideline presents even more challenges to us. But it's something that we are looking forward to having a right crack off it.